What has Warzone done with its snipers? I'm gonna go over all the changes and tell you which snipers are now unusable, which ones are still decent, and what the meta sniper rifles are gonna be. I'll then give you the best class setups on the meta ones. Welcome back, I'm Austin, and they have completely flipped the sniper meta on its head by making it so the quicker handling sniper rifles can't one-shot headshot players at long ranges anymore. But there are 3 snipers that have become completely unusable because they can't one-shot headshot at any range, and those are gonna be the Rytec, Dragunov, and M82, which got the biggest nerf out of all the snipers in this update. A sniper that can't eliminate players with a headshot is a bad sniper because of how low the fire rate is. It just doesn't make sense. Now that we've gone over those terrible ones, let's look at the sniper rifles that get a one-shot kill in their initial damage ranges. And this is going to have all the most popular ones from before with the Modern Warfare Kar98, SPR, and Cold War Swiss. We're also going to have the Pellington Tundra, which makes no sense to me because it's a heavy sniper rifle, but whatever. And then we got the Type 99 and Vanguard Kar98. Some of these will be viable to use, especially on Rebirth Island. There are 4 snipers in this category I want to focus on. That's going to be the Modern Warfare Kar98, SPR, Swiss, and Pellington. First thing to go over is going to be their one-shot potential ranges, where the Pellington will win by a mile over these other things with 70 meters, making it very good for Rebirth Island because most of your engagements will be within that range. Next, we're going to have the Kar98 with 53 meters, and then the Swiss and SPR are going to be tied at 45. The first weapon that can be eliminated from this meta is going to be the SPR, unfortunately, because what made it so good was its amazing bullet velocity and great sniper scope. It has the slowest ADS of these 4 snipers, which all have to be used as a more aggressive weapon with these changes that they've made. Up next, I sadly have to say, my favorite sniper rifle, the Swiss, is going to be eliminated because it has the second slowest ADS time, and it has the worst range just like the SPR. The real battle is going to be between the Modern Warfare Kar98 and the Pellington, where the Kar98 will only have a better sprint to fire time. The Pellington actually has a faster aim down sight speed, better range for one-hit kills as I already mentioned, faster movement, and better bullet velocity, and then they're also both going to have a fire rate of 44 rounds per minute. There's no reason to use the Kar98 over the Pellington other than maybe nostalgia or liking its optic better. The Pellington is just going to be the meta Rebirth sniper, and before switching to the heavy snipers, I'd actually like to go over the best class setup for the Pellington. I'm still going to want to get the max bullet velocity so we can just point at the head, shoot, and aim, and we don't have to worry about bullet drop-off out to 70 meters, because that's its range currently. And to start off, we're going to go with the Wrap Suppressor because this not only gives us the bullet velocity, it increases our damage range, as well as giving us sound suppression, making this perfect for Rebirth Island. Then we go with the Combat Recon because this is what gets us to our max bullet velocity by pairing that with the Wrap Suppressor. And then we're really trying to increase the ADS, which is going to be the SWAT 5MW laser, which also gives us aiming stability, which is really important on snipers. And then the last one for ADS is going to be the Airborne Elastic Wrap. You could also go with the Serpent Wrap if you don't mind getting your sprint to fire time hurt really badly, but since this is going to be our up close ones, the Airborne Elastic Wrap doesn't hurt it nearly as bad, and we also get flinch resistance and aiming stability, so I think that's way more important. Now the last attachment I don't have on right now because there's going to be 2 options. Either you can go for the fast reload with the fast reloader because this has no con to it. It doesn't hurt your ADS, it's just going to make it so you can reload the weapon a little bit faster, which allows you to get into more close quarters fights. Or if you really want to improve the ADS of this weapon, you can go with the Royal and Cross 6x scope, so you still got really good zoom, but it also just really increases your aim down sight speed as well as gives you better peripheral vision, which is my preference. But if you don't want the weird scope and you want to keep a sniper scope on it, just go with the fast reloader instead. Make sure to like the video if this has been helpful so far, it really helps me out. Then make sure to subscribe if you want to see top 10 lists, weapon comparison videos, or tier lists, and then keep up-to-date Warzone information. And let's get into these heavy sniper rifles that can one-hit out to infinite ranges, the HDR, AX50, ZRG20, Gorenko anti-tank rifle, and the 3-line rifle. I'm going to go over a quick comparison of these weapons to help you decide which ones are the best to use on Caldera and for you. The first one I'm going to eliminate from the choices is going to be the anti-tank rifle because of its putrid handling. If you want to barf while playing Warzone, try moving around with that thing. Next up, the AX50 has to get tossed because it has the lowest bullet velocity among these snipers. It's fine to use on Rebirth and has over 1100 bullet velocity and a decent aim down sight speed, especially for a heavy sniper. But if we're using these slower snipers for their infinite ranges, we should be focused on the ones with elite bullet velocities, limiting their bullet drop off, making them easier to use. That leaves us with 3, the HDR, ZRG, and 3-line rifle. This is where it gets a little tricky because it's mostly going to be preference based. The ZRG will have the best bullet velocity barely over the HDR, along with the best aim down sight speed just slightly over the 3-line. But the ZRG will easily have the worst weapon swap time and the worst gun kick after you shoot, meaning it's going to really make your weapon go off center. On top of that, the ZRG blocks off most of your screen with its bulky frame, making your peripheral vision bad, which makes me view the weapon as worse than the HDR and 3-line. And a direct comparison between those two is going to be that the 3-line will have better handling and have a faster fire rate of 40 rounds per minute to 34, while the HDR will have the better bullet velocity and the best aiming stability, as well as the least gun kick when shooting. But you'll have to decide which one you like better between these two heavy snipers, but first I'll give you the best class setups for each one to try out and help you decide. For the HDR, we do have the limitless range for the one-shot headshots, so we need max bullet velocity, a good scope in order for us to be able to shoot 200-300 meters out, as well as really good aiming stability. So I'll start off with that. The max bullet velocity is going to come from the HDR Pro barrel and the monolith suppressor. So this thing only says it does sound suppression and damage range, but it actually helps your bullet velocity by about 400, so we need to run this even though it does hurt our ADS speeds. Then we got the HDR Pro, which the damage range and the recoil control don't help too much, but the bullet velocity is so important on something we're going to be using at ultra long ranges. Then we have the tac laser to help counteract those two attachments to help us with our ADS speed as well as our aiming stability. So that's a very important attachment. Then we have the variable zoom, which is the 5.5 times optic and 12.5 times optic. So what you basically do is when you're scanning for enemies, you want to have the 5.5 times zoom out. And then when you spot one, you'll zoom in to 12.6 to get the precision aiming. And then from there, we got the FTAC Champion, which is going to be our aiming stability and aim walking steadiness. That way you get less sway on your optic when you aren't holding your breath. And this is probably the top option for a long-range sniper. The 3-line sniper rifle is one that hasn't been used nearly enough in this game, but now that the most popular ones got nerfed, I think can finally come to the forefront. It has some of the best bullet velocity in the entire game, and that's the first thing I'm going to focus on right here. With the Mercury Silencer, this will get us plus bullet velocity. The Empress 514 not only gives us bullet velocity, but sprint to fire speed and ADS. It does hurt our aiming stability, and I'm going to come back to that in a second. And then the 20-round mag is kind of weird on a sniper. This is the biggest clip you'll have on any single sniper rifle within Warzone that can actually get one-shot headshots, especially at unlimited ranges. It also gets us the max bullet velocity, which is why we threw it on, as well as plus bullet penetration, and for some reason, it gives you better reload quickness. I don't understand this attachment at all, but you're gonna run it. And now from there, remember that aiming stability thing? That is the one big con of this weapon, which is why the rest of these attachments are really going to be geared towards improving that. With the heavy foregrip, aiming stability up, aim walking steadiness. So that's a double win right there. Leather grip, aim down sight speed, and aiming stability, another double win. Now we got the silent focus for some more aiming stability, and then I have deep breath on because of the issue with the aiming stability and the weapon swaying a little bit too much for my liking. So holding your breath is really important, so I wanted to extend the duration of that, and there's nothing really else you could use on this that would be super helpful other than fully loaded. And then from here, I don't want to have an optic on the gun because the base one is already really nice. Now the stock is unlisted right now because there's 3 options you can do, and this is going to be a personal preference. The first one is the ZAC Custom MZ, which is going to get you your ADS speed and aim walking movement speed. If you really want to get better movement on the weapon, you're going to go with the ZAC Custom MZ. Now the MN Custom is going to be for your aiming stability and your flinch resistance, which I find to be really important, so I really like that one. And then the Kolovsky SO1 is aiming stability, flinch resistance, and recoil recovery, just mean the gun will recenter quicker, but I don't think I'd use this one because it hurts your movement stats a little bit too much, so I would go with the MN Custom or the ZAC Custom. For me personally, I like the MN Custom just a little bit more. You're going to be able to get the one-hit headshots out to infinite ranges, and you have a fat clip of 20 rounds, so you never have to worry about reloading, even though it increases your reload quickness. But this sniper is actually really underrated, and I suggest giving it a try or leveling it up. Let me know what you guys think of it. Now that you know the top-end sniper rifles, make sure to click on this video for the top 10 sniper sports in Warzone currently. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.